So I told you I was getting out here on this water to get at these crappie because it's cold. And look at this guy I just pulled in. I mean, he's nothing but a slab. That's what you want to eat right there. A good 13, 14-inch crappie, nothing like it. This is the brush pile that I'm fishing today. What you see is a bunch of fish. You see, I've heard people ask me, are those leaves on the tree? But all you have to do is use your common sense. A tree that is underwater will not have leaves on it. It would just be thin sticks and branches. So what you are seeing are fish. It's a combination of bass, bluegill, and crappie. There are a few bigger catfish lying along the bottom, but most of what you see, like those dots there, those more than likely are crappie and bluegill. Then every now and then the bigger bass come and swim in and out. But it's thousands of them down there. Oh my God, you guys. The crappie that are coming out of here today, I'm telling you, these things, the camera don't always catch it. But these are some 14, 15-inch crappie. And I mean, it is nice and booming out here today. It's a little chilly and a little windy. But that's what you do. You want to come out here and get these guys. All right, now just look at this crappie. I really hate that these cameras don't show how big these fish actually are. But these are some really nice crappie that I'm catching out here today. Straight not, fella. I probably have about 15 of these right now. And I'll show you on the stringer as soon as I get done. But I probably got a few more hours to go. But that's a nice guy. All right, so I just got off the water. And it's cold out here. But I can say I did pretty good. If you look right here. Let me just lay this down. It's a bunch of 15-inch crappie. This bunch of 15-inch crappie. I got some 13s and 12s. I even kept a couple of bass this time. But as you can see, they are going into the tacos tonight. So this is how you wrap up your day when you leave the lake. It's just nothing like it. I mean, I talk about it all the time. You guys have recently seen me out at Tuckertown. Today I'm at Circle Drive, another part of Badin Lake. And it is now time to take it on in because tonight I am doing fish tacos. And here's why. I get to fish as often as I like. Right there. I don't have to keep the truck clean. Why bother keeping it clean when I know all I'm going to do is hook up the boat and come right back out on the lake another day. This is what I do constantly. I come out here on this lake, cover my nose. It's cold, so I had to, cover up my nose. This is not a COVID mask. This is a it's cold outside mask. So I'm gonna take it in now. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you guys the fish tacos. Because when I tell you they taste good, you guys are about to see what taste good is all about. All right, I'm going to show you the easiest way to fillet a crappie. First and foremost, you want to make sure you have a very sharp knife. So I'm going to take my fillet knife here and I'm going to sharpen it just to make sure you get really good clean cuts. If you use a dull knife, you will lose a lot of meat and you don't want that. So you want a very, very sharp knife. Once that's done, just get your crappie. Let me get one of these off of the stringer. I'll take this guy because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make fish tacos, and I want to make sure I don't have to deal with any bones so that I can just dig in on the taco. So the first thing you want to do is take the knife and go right behind the gill. Cut into the crappie. I like to cut until I feel the bone and turn the knife sideways and then just slice down the backbone. You can feel the backbone the entire way. And I'm going to also do this with an electric knife and show you how much easier it is if you use an electric knife. But once you get to the tail, just flip the fillet open, put the knife down, and just slide the knife right along the skin. And there you have it, a nice crappie steak. Now all you have to do at this point is just cut the rib cage out. Some people do it with one slice. I like to get a lot of meat, so I'll do it in 2 slices. And there you have a nice crappie fillet. Simply turn the crappie over and repeat that process. I could have sharpened the knife even more, but it's still getting pretty good cuts. Slide down the skin, and then you just have a nice, completely filleted crappie. Cut out the rib cage. And that is a perfectly filleted crappie with 2 nice steaks. Now I'm going to show you the way I do it with an electric knife. This way I can go through a bunch at one time. So with an electric knife, it's a lot easier because really you can just do a whole bunch, in one sitting without having to, worry about sharpening the knife and so forth. But basically you just do the same thing. You take the electric knife and cut down until you feel the backbone. But be careful because with an electric knife, it's very easy to cut through the backbone. You don't want to do that. Flip it over. Simply skin it. And there you have nice crappie fillets. Now we'll just simply cut off the rib cage. One of the reasons why I love fall crappie so much is because the meat is cold and it's firmer. That way you get much, much better fillets. One of the reasons why I like fall crappie fishing is because you get a much firmer meat because the meat is cold. But since I have an entire sink full of fish to clean, I'm going to cut the camera off and get these cleaned and get to cooking the fish tacos. So this is an extremely simple taco recipe for fish tacos. I'm doing keto right now, so basically these will be keto friendly tacos. I'm going to use a low carb flour shell. So basically all you do is just heat some butter in a pan and sprinkle some onions in. Me, I like the purple onions. Of course, you can use any onions of your type. I cook some and I leave some raw. The raw onions just give it that nice crunch. But when you saute the fish with the onions, it gets a really, really nice flavor. So we'll just let those simmer. And season to your liking. Me personally, I don't use a lot of seasoning. I found this one seasoning I'll share with you. Now look at these fillets. These are the fillets that I caught today, fresh out of the lake. It does not get any fresher than this. They're nice and firm and cold. And that's what you want, especially when making tacos. And later I'll also do a fried recipe to show you the way I fry it, because those taste really good as well. So what you want is the onions to start to caramelize a little, or get a little brown. And the aroma from the butter and the onions is just incredible. And always keep, some extra butter near just in case it starts to burn out. You don't want the pan to go dry, because then your fish will burn and stick to the pan, and we don't want that. So once the butter is nice and hot, we'll start laying in some fillets. I'm not going to cook all of this because I'm eating alone tonight. The wife and kids are out of town. So I'm just going to make a few tacos for myself. And the rest I will freeze to fry maybe tomorrow. So we'll just let that cook until it's nice and brown. So right now, I'll just add a little Old Bay. I like to wait until it's cooked halfway through before I put seasoning on. And I'm just putting a little. And this is the seasoning I was talking about. I recently went on a camping trip in Los Angeles and discovered this stuff. I'd never heard of it, and I don't know if they sell it here in North Carolina. But let me tell you, this stuff here is fantastic. And no, I'm not endorsed by them, but maybe I should be. Now I flip the fillets over. And now I will add a little pescado. Now this stuff can be very strong, so you really want to use it sparingly. It has a lemony flavor to it, and you can always add more afterwards if you need more. But I would say be careful and start off lightly. Now as the fish begins to cook, it'll start to break up, and that's fine because you're eating these as tacos, so it doesn't matter if the fish is broken up. As a matter of fact, it helps it cook a little bit better. And it's all mixed in with the onions. Just take a look at this. Pure deliciousness. And as you know, fish cooks pretty fast, so you don't want to overcook it and dry it out. But you really can just cook it to your preference. Some people like theirs medium. Some people like theirs well done. Same with steaks. Or I should say just like steaks. So now I'm going to turn this down and just let it simmer while I prepare the shells. So for the shells, it's very simple. I don't use any type of oil or butter or anything. And as I mentioned, I'm using the carb balance shells. These are very low carb if you're doing a keto diet, as I am. And I basically just like to warm them up. But there is a secret to making them taste absolutely fantastic. I just learned this from my brother in Los Angeles, and I haven't done it another way since. And that secret is to spread a little bit of cheese on the shell while it's heating. Not a lot, just a little. And as soon as this cheese starts to melt on the shell, I'll flip them over and let the cheese cook on the other side. So now that the cheese is warm, I'm just going to flip the shells. This is a non-stick, so you don't have to worry about it sticking. And just for a few minutes, you want that cheese to burn. So this is what it will look like. The cheese is stuck to the shell, and you're going to feel it from the inside. The only thing left to do now is to build tacos. Crappie tacos, guys, is unbeatable. It's literally, ooh, man oh man. I don't know who came up with them, but whoever did was a genius. So now I'm going to sprinkle a few raw onions on. And if you don't like raw onions, of course, you can skip this step, but my wife and I, we love raw onions, especially on tacos. Tacos and salads. Then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of lettuce. Now, I don't shoot for pretty. I shoot for tasting good. I'll leave the pretty to the ladies. Last and definitely not least is some Old Bay hot sauce. This is some good stuff. And there you have it, fish tacos. Now, I'm not gonna let you watch me eat these, but I promise you, I am about to enjoy this. Take care.